What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know.
Penn State obviously has some passing deficiencies. We've said this time and time again, even though people just want to deny the fact. And I know you guys know because I know. And we have told you that the thing about Penn State is they do not recruit wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
They don't. And then this is the one of
I think their highest recruit in the past couple of years has been 𝗕𝙁𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀
Dotson, and then bringing over Julian Fleming, which I believe he was a 5-star as well.
Yes.
But that wasn't their original recruit. So
speaking of 5-stars, Florida finally got one at receiver. It hasn't happened since 2014.
Yeah, you know, everybody tried to dunk on Billy Napier, and look what happened. Even Sora himself.
God damn it.
But in that game against SMU, who
apology video coming soon.
Don't want to say that SMU is one of the better defenses. I believe that, you know, Brashard Smith and Kevin Jennings and everybody out there are really good all together for SMU on their offense. And when you look at Penn State, the first things that you think of outside of Drew Allar is Nicholas Singleton and 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀 Allen and Tyler Warren at tight end. You know what I'm saying? They came out of that game with only 136 passing yards, and you know, they came out with an interception late in the game. You know, that doesn't count. But either way it goes, this is definitely a lack of a wide receiving core. Because can you name one superstar receiver that's there?
Does Tyler Warren count?
Outside of Tyler Warren, because
no, I cannot.
They've always had good tight ends. Pat Fryermuth and everybody.
Whoa!
Wait.
Whoa. Also, that's why Micah Parsons went to Penn State. It all makes sense now.
That's nasty work, bro.
What he did was nasty work, all right?
So the question is, can Boise State exploit Penn State's lack of a wide receiving talent? Because Boise State does have a really good secondary that nobody really talks about. So are they going to be able to shut them down and to be able to hone in on that rushing game this week and to be able to say, we got the better running back on our team, and we're going to make Nicholas Singleton and 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀 Allen seem like they're not a good 1-2 punch?
I think the true question is, can Sora stop sneezing right now? So my thing is, we have talked about, and Drew Allar even said that he's coming back, which I think is very much needed because you can tell that he still needs work. But the lack of weapons outside of Tyler Warren, who will more than likely be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
In very late rounds. Or in very late round. In the whatever, first-round draft pick. I mean, obviously we know about their two-headed running back, but Boise State does have the 23rd best rushing defense. Penn State has the 7th best rushing defense, so you know, you kind of got to look out for that on both sides. But if you look at the passing, Maddox Medicine has, you know, his stats are a lot more flashier than Drew Allar. And I get what you're talking, like, oh, stats, whatever, all that stuff. But keep in mind, he was named to the Davey O'Brien, like, awards watch list, which we all know what that means. He was one of the best quarterbacks. So I think you kind of have to look at, you know, what is Drew Allar, and not even Drew Allar, more so, are these wide receivers outside of Tyler Warren going to be able to extend drives, going to be able to beat the secondary and keep Ashton Jeanty off of the field? I don't know, quite honestly, if they can, because we've seen him before, even without Jeanty. Maddox Medicine can still do damage. This Boise State offense can still do damage. Obviously, when you've got Jeanty, it's a completely different ball game, but it's not like they're complete pushovers when he's not in.
And we said this at the beginning of the season when we were talking about Boise State, and we knew that they would be a fairly good team this year based on, you know, obviously everybody can go and say their history of their team. They've always been a winning program. They're one of the winningest programs over the last 25 years. But if you have a talent like Malachi Nelson, who has entered the transfer portal again, I've seen. This kid came from USC to Boise State just to ride the bench for 2 years straight. Because Taylor Green was there last year. Now he's at Arkansas. And now Maddox Madsen, that is a homegrown Boise State guy in his sophomore year. And I said, remember I told everybody, don't read through the grapevine, man. I think that Maddox Madsen might have the juice. 5'10", 203 pounds. Throwing for over 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Only turning the ball over for 3 times in the air when you have the most dynamic running back on the ground shows you that you're going to have to just stop more than Ashton Jeanty this year. Really and truly. So, and I mean, he's got another 5 touchdowns on the ground, 224 yards. So the guy has 27 touchdowns total on the year. That's nothing to scoff at for a guy that's taking his first start of the year. I mean, like I said, always having Ashton Jeanty there is, you know, I obviously is a great thing to have, but their defense has been playing incredible. I mean, what was it, a 1-point game between them and Oregon? So I believe it was, I believe it was like 1 or 2 points, you know, when you look at it. Yeah, it was it was a 3-point game. So they lost by a field goal. So it's 37-34, but you putting 34 points up on Oregon, you know, when most teams, when you look at Oregon's schedule, 14 points, they put up 34 points. Then you have 14, 13, 10. Ohio State put up 31 points on them. Outside of that, the only other teams that put up 20 plus points was Washington and Penn State.
Yeah.
So,
and even versus like top 25, these two quarterbacks are pretty eerily similar. We look at Max Menson rating versus top 25, 100, 52.2% completion, 306 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. We look at Drew Allar, 116, 58. 116 rating, 58% completion, 507 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns. So we're looking at it. It's very like eerily similar quarterback play, but the weapons, which is really weird to say, but the weapons on Boise State receiving wise there's more of an abundance of them. Obviously, Tyler Warren's the best receiving weapon out there.
Correct.
Even over Jeanty. Like there's no arguing that. Boise State literally will have to circle Tyler Warren, and that's the whole defensive play. Stop that guy, because he can do it all. He can do anything.
Yeah, you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Tyler Warren is that guy, though.
Oh, we know.
I know.
This tight end class just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm like, who else is a great tight end going to join this damn draft class?
I was about to say, when was the last time we had a tight end class this stacked?
Well, bless you.
I know, right? Person just entered the chat now.
This tight end class is probably the deepest of all time. I mean, really think about it from top to bottom. The names just keep going on and on.
Gunnar Helm.
Colston Loveland.
Yeah, Colston Loveland.
Homie from Texas Tech. Elijah Arroyo.
Wait, let me pull up our own API real quick, and I'll tell you. We got it all, brothers. Don't worry.
Yeah.
EastCoastGridiron.net.
I don't know, man. I honestly think Boise State's going to have. I think they're going to have a field day. I think it's going to be a close game, man. And I think didn't some of us say that Boise State could win this game early when we first did the prediction? Yeah. I mean, I just don't. After this last game, I just don't see how you don't give at least Boise State some kind of an edge for what they're lacking at Penn State in the passing game. And it's no knock on Drew Allar. It's really not. That dude tries to put the team.
But also, Maddox Menson's only had 3 interceptions all year. You're not going to get the same mistakes you got with Kevin Jennings, where he threw 2 pick sixes.
3 interceptions in the first half.
I was about to say 3 interceptions. I was going to say, how
Almost
many
4.
turnovers were there in total?
Didn't he have 4 interceptions at the end of the game?
I think so. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to get that with Maddox Medicine, and the fumbles. You're not going to get all that with them.
Yeah.
You're going to need that number 7 rush defense to show up, absolutely. But the mistakes that Kevin Jennings made, you're not going to get with Maddox Medicine. He left. Kevin Jennings gave that defense 14 points alone. Drew Lar probably didn't even need to play the way that Kevin Jennings was playing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people need to give Boise State at least a little bit of a chance. I mean,
oh, absolutely, especially after the Heisman. Yeah,
you can't.
Ashton GT might kill a man.
You can't look at that Oregon game and just be like, oh, he was aight.
He had almost 200 rushing yards. He was 3 short of 200 rushing yards.
I'm talking about in total, just for them. Like, how can we?
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying in general, like for those that are like, they haven't played a top team. Bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go against a dude in Amarion McCoy who's got 13 passes defended all year long, and it's got a forced fumble and an interception. Then you just look at like their safety play. They got a guy on their team with 63 total tackles. Let's not even talk. And then the number 1 tackling guy on their team is a safety as well with 73. You know what I'm saying? And Ty Benfield, who's been there for 2 years. He's got 2 interceptions, 3 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. They're going to be all right. I think, against ranked teams, we already know the man that chokes the most. His name is James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Erickson said, "Come on, man. How, what? What is the question that you're asking? How? We would love to answer your question, Briar, but I don't. Are you saying how does BYU have a chance? We just talked about it. Mind you, Malachi Nelson came in for 1 game and 3 interceptions, and that was it for the rest of his season. So he's not there anymore. So,
anyways, back to the tight end class. Mason Taylor's one of them from LSU.
Yep. Mason Taylor.
Jake Bringstool.
Oh,
or Bringstool
from Clemson. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the dude's name. I was like, I know it's Jake something, but I couldn't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, this is this is a stacked class. Gavin Bartholomew, Pittsburgh.
Oh, from Pittsburgh. Yep.
I saw him earlier. Caden Prieskorn from Ole Miss. Terrence Ferguson, Oregon.
Oh yeah, Terrence Ferguson. Oh my Lord. Yeah, this tight end class is incredible. I mean, we could look at 2 years ago. That class was pretty nutty too. Where the boy Payne Durham and the rest of them dudes that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that class was pretty nasty.
That was pretty nutty.
Yeah, I mean, last year's was pretty nutty too. Brock Bowers, Ben Sinnott. Why am I drawing a blank on the kid's name?
Brevin Spanford,
Jared Wiley, Cade Stover. That class was pretty nutty too. Hold up.
It's just gradually getting better.
It was like good. Yeah, this class is like super exceeding everything. BYU doesn't have a chance, Dante.
You said BYU instead of Boise at one point.
Who?
You said BYU instead of Boise at one point.
Oh, my bad.
That's why I said you mean
guys
Boise.
Know what I was saying. Love Genty, he got robbed, but may God hold him under 150 yards next week versus PSU win. I
think you don't need to worry about. You don't need to worry about more about your offense than Genty.
That's what we're trying to say is like the offense itself is what's going to beat Penn State. Like they're going to beat themselves. There is an obvious lack of a passing game that's there. They're going to shovel themselves. It's not just going to be Ashton Genty and Maddox and Madsen and the rest of their defense that's going to get them the win. It's the lack of a passing offense. You can't be one-dimensional against one of the best run-stopping defenses. And what were they ranked? 23rd?
They were ranked 23rd, yes.
Boise State's ranked 23rd in the country in pass defense or rushing defense. It's nothing to scoff at, man. When they run the ball a lot in the Mountain West too. So you can say what you want, but they only lost by 3 points against the best team in the country and had them up against the ropes in that first quarter or in that first half for sure. So, but I know you had a question in regards to this.
Yeah, so, you know, kind of my question is, what is the, I guess if you were to give like a kind of think of it as like an over or under, but what is the ideal stat line that Drew 𝗓𝗏 would need to have in order to overcome Boise State? You know, what kind of performance are you looking out of him for? Are you looking for long, methodical drives, you know, quick, deep bombs down the field? What are we, if you are the quarterback coach right now, or not even the quarterback coach, I guess the offensive coordinator, what is the game plan that you are telling Drew 𝗓𝗏? This is what we need you to do if we want to win this game. I
would say if I'm Drew 𝗓𝗏, I'm looking at the fact that let's rely on our running game as much as possible. Because if I'm 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, right? I'm definitely like, let's not get yourself hurt. We got 2 running backs that can do the same thing but better because they're running backs, right?
And you can even throw in Tyler Warren in at running back.
You can throw Tyler Warren at running back. You have a lot of options. If I'm 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, I'm drawing up a game plan for us to get the ball out early and often as much as possible. I'm looking at I'm looking at the Will Stein offense at Oregon. Get the ball out quick, ball out quick, ball out quick, because we know we can't really hit anybody in the long game. And when we can, it can be successful. And we've seen that happen because people are so worried about what we're doing in the short game. But if I'm looking at a Drew 𝗓𝗏 offense, I'm looking at him to at least throw over 200 yards, 215 yards and a touchdown with what the production that Nick Singleton and them did last week and how good their defense played. I think that wins them the game. I just need them to be a little bit better and to actually throw a touchdown this game. I think that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully the blowout's over. Well, it's like we said.
Funny you mentioned that.
Every single year we've run into this, but you know. Yeah, so Brian, you agree with me. 200, 250 yards, 1 or 2 touchdowns, let the rest lay on the running backs. Yeah. And for him not to take the ball into his own hands like he's tend to do. You don't have to be the hero, man. Let 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 draw up the offense. Let the offensive coordinator what you're seeing. It should be a symbiotic relationship. A lot of people just think like the quarterbacks don't speak to the coaches and let them know. Like, you're the one that's down there. I need you to let me know. And it seems like Drew 𝗓𝗏 has been a vocal guy. He seems like kind of a hothead too.
At times, yeah. There's been what was the one game where he was on like the he was in the sideline, like going into the tunnel for something. I think it might have been like near the end of the game. There was, I forget which game it was, but he was heated about something.
Ola needs to play better than last week. First half was very bad. Yeah, you could tell they have some deficiencies this year with that too. But it's not like they're a bad unit. I don't know what happened last week or what was being thrown at SMU that they really just, you know, are really being thrown from SMU to Penn State's way, where they just were getting so confused on everything. But